CTV Edmonton, local breaking news with Brendan Purdy.
We don't have the supports, we don't have the materials, we don't have the resources.
Tonight on CTV News, back to class. Striking teachers are forced back to school. Good evening and thanks for joining us. The UCP government has introduced back-to-work legislation for striking Alberta teachers today, including the unprecedented use of the notwithstanding clause. Instead of more bargaining, the government is overriding teachers' constitutional right to strike and imposing a new 3-year agreement. CTV's Jeremy Thompson has the details.
Another demonstration at the legislature in support of teachers. This one organized by students who've experienced the strain on the education system firsthand.
So we physically cannot fit everybody in the classrooms, and I think that really encapsulates what all of Alberta is feeling right now. We don't have the supports, we don't have the materials, we don't have the resources.
More than 750,000 students and 51,000 teachers have been out of school since October 6th, unable to find common ground on a new collective agreement. Now, the province is legislating them back.
This strike has caused irreparable harm to students. That is why we'll be invoking the notwithstanding clause in the Canadian Charter of Rights and Freedoms, the Alberta Bill of Rights, and the Alberta Human Rights Act.
The government is using the clause for the first time in Alberta's history, overriding any legal challenges to its back-to-work legislation.
The notwithstanding clause is part of our Constitution, and part of the reason why it's there is that sometimes there are a lot of different interests that have to be mediated.
Bill 2 imposes a 3-year contract on teachers, a deal virtually identical to the one about 90% of union members rejected multiple times before striking.
They've taken the nuclear option on something that they could have avoided. And Albertans will be forgiven for asking themselves, who's next?
The government is promising to hire 3,000 new teachers and 1,500 education aides over the next 3 years in the legislated agreement, along with a 12% raise. Premier Smith says it's a reasonable contract and is asking Albertans to judge for themselves.
Just give an honest assessment of whether they think it's fair. Most of the parents I talk to, they think it's fair. Many of the teachers who've contacted us, they think it's fair. And I think most of all, it's fair to the students who are the ones who are most impacted.
The president of the Alberta Teachers Association, Jason Schilling, calls this a sad day for teachers and all Albertans. He believes the government is trampling on charter rights, and this legislation will only make the crisis in Alberta education worse. Jeremy Thompson, CTV News, Edmonton.
Teachers have asked for the province to address class size and complexity in the contract. The province is doing an analysis on aggression and complexity in classrooms right now. That group will publish its findings next month. That task force will then shift focus to class sizes. Premier Smith said in the legislature today that it would gather information about which schools are under the most pressure to then find creative and, in her words, practical solutions to cramped classrooms. The Alberta Federation of Labour says the province had other options, but instead chose what it calls the nuclear option. It says it'll stand up for teachers and for all working people.
I just want to make it really clear that if the government puts a gun to the head of the teachers and they're not able to continue their strike, then we in the broader labour movement will stand where they're not able to.
Last week, a coalition of all unions in Alberta called the Common Front warned Smith against using the notwithstanding clause. AFL President Gil McGowan says union presidents have agreed on a tentative plan, which will be made public on Wednesday. Questions are lingering about last week's municipal election, with 600 ballots miscounted in one Edmonton City Council ward. The province is standing firm on its decision to remove voting tabulators, while Edmonton Elections isn't saying much. CTV's Connor Hogg has more.
1 week after Edmontonians went to the polls, there are still questions about what went wrong. Last week, Edmonton Elections said more than 600 votes in Ward Seepa-Winnewak were miscounted due to human error, a misprint in the order of names on tally sheets. It resulted in a recount. and a revised winner for the ward.
We're happy to make sure that in the recount we know what we're doing and that we can have certainty in it because of the hand-bound counted paper ballots.
Monday's election was the first since new provincial legislation added attestation forms and removed electronic tabulators from the voting process. Speaking on her weekend radio show, Danielle Smith says electronic tabulators are problematic, especially in close races.
I guess there's some soul searching that each of the administrations are going to have to do about their own processes and why, in the cases where there were problems, that occurred.
When Edmontonians see how difficult it was to vote in this most recent municipal election, they're going to say, well, why should I bother the next time if I got to go through all this rigmarole?
Political analyst John Brennan says the UCP government's new processes made things more cumbersome. He also says the city needs to be more open about how things went wrong.
Clearly, they don't want to do that because they don't want to take the blame for what happened. They're going to have to do a better job of counting if the province isn't going to allow the cities to use vote tabulating machines.
We're happy to work with them going forward. We've been in touch with them through my department and electoral chief electoral office and the different returning officers that were there.
Dan Williams says Edmonton Elections feedback will be factored into the province's future moves, policy changes, regulation, or legislation. Edmonton Elections did not respond to CTV News' request for an interview. Connor Hogg, CTV News, Edmonton.
2 homes are damaged after the house under construction in between them went up in flames on Sunday night. As CTV's Merrick Cash reports, there was a similar fire late last year, and neighbors are worried.
Just before midnight, a Belgravia construction site was fully engulfed in flames, lighting up 77th Avenue.
Around midnight, I heard all this noise, and I thought, what is that? So I went out onto the porch here, and the fire was so hot that it felt like it was burning my face just standing on the porch. It was really incredible.
The 2-alarm fire took hours to bring under control.
I checked again at 3 a.m. and it was still burning. And at 4:30 it was smoking, so it went on for a long time.
Monday, the multi-unit development is in ruins. Houses on either side are damaged.
This one was under construction. It's an octoplex, and we could tell right away it was a total loss. We were very sad to see that the 2 neighboring houses were also badly damaged.
Feel bad for all the families that live here, and hopefully that they can get some help and everything. Yeah.
Last November, a duplex under construction burnt down on the same block. Both incidents have neighbors feeling uneasy.
So we're all really worried that, maybe there's an arsonist on the loose, and, we hope we'll get some answers from the police or the fire department as soon as possible.
EPS detectives worked alongside fire investigators looking for the cause. No injuries have been reported. Merrick Takash, CTV News, Edmonton.
Canada Border Services Agency officers have stopped a shipment of cocaine at the Coots border crossing. The agency says 77 kilos of cocaine was found in a commercial truck when it crossed the border from the U.S. on September 25th. The drugs have an estimated street value of $7 million. Once the drugs were discovered, RCMP and Calgary police launched an investigation. 28-year-old Serge Singh Salaria from Calgary faces a number of charges. A court case involving a woman previously convicted of mistreating horses has been postponed. Patricia Moore has had trouble retaining a lawyer and is now searching for new representation. Moore has a court-ordered ban on owning horses after multiple convictions related to starving and mistreating animals. In April, police laid new charges, including causing unnecessary pain and suffering or injury to an animal. Moore has pleaded not guilty. Her case has been put over until November 24th in Evansburg. The Oilers will honor Canada's military during their game tomorrow night. The game will include a special puck drop and tributes to military members. Proceeds from the 50-50 will support the 4-wing Military Family Resource Center Society in Cold Lake. The Oilers will also be sporting their new alternate uniform for the first time this season. The Oilers face off against the Utah Mammoth at 7:30. The Toronto Blue Jays' run to the World Series is creating a stir across our country. Here in our region, the number of people signing up to play ball is growing. CTV's Evan Kenny explains.
Here's a pitch on the way, a swing and a belt, left field, way back, Blue Jays win it!
It happened in the 90s.
You can only flirt with fire for so long.
And again in 2015. And now in 2025, a massive home run for the Blue Jays to take the win. The local baseball community believes that this Toronto Blue Jays postseason run is going to get more kids into the sport.
The little guys, all the rally cap guys, the T-ballers and stuff like that, I mean, I'm expecting to see, a couple hundred more Blue Jays jerseys running around here next year.
St. Albert Minor Baseball's executive director says the association is already preparing for a spike in registrations next season.
We haven't seen this in, 30 years since they've been there? So, it's, I'm excited more to see how the kids react to it.
At Athex Baseball, the Jays are dominating the conversation among teammates.
Our whole team watched the last out of the Mariners game and the Blue Jays, and everybody was going crazy, and it was a really sick moment.
Everyone is so excited, and everyone's so happy for all the boys there.
One of their coaches was drafted by Toronto in 2017. Tanner Kerwer hopes his players can one day feel the same excitement he felt.
Just being drafted was an unbelievable moment, but to be drafted by the team I idolized growing up, that was surreal for me.
That's the dream for all these guys, right? Is to play at that level, play college ball, and then move on from there. So there's always a level of mimicry, I guess, or idolization with that.
Giving these players something to strive for with the resources to do so.
You can see on our building the Jays Care sign. That was through a grant from the Blue Jays that helped us build that building and do some renovations here at the facility.
A postseason that has future baseball players in our area motivated to keep swinging for the fences. Evan Kenny, CTV News, Edmonton.
The Food Bank's Canada's 2025 hunger count shows food insecurity is on the rise here in Alberta. Roughly 210,000 Albertans use the food bank every month. Of those, 76,000 are children. In the last year, food bank use in Alberta has gone up nearly 22%. It's the largest year-over-year increase in our country. Here in Edmonton, more than 40,000 people are signed up for the food bank's food hamper program. That's about as many people who live in Spruce Grove.
Certainly the national report was no surprise to us because basically our experiences reflected the same severity that the hunger count report is talking about. So we're looking at double the number of people turning to us just for the hamper programs.
127 Alberta food banks reported numbers for the 2025 hunger count. The UCP government says it plans to strengthen protections for students at private vocational training colleges. The bill introduced in the current session of the legislature will ensure private colleges won't take advantage of students, including international students who pay much higher tuition rates. Private vocational colleges often teach skills such as truck driving, medical office skills, and hairstyling. They say the legislation will also cut down on false and misleading recruitment practices. The province says these changes will line up with other provinces. A group of Edmonton seniors are keeping fit and healthy in a rather unique way. As CTV's Amanda Anderson reports, they've taken up Shumka dancing.
Shumka is known to be a high-energy style of Ukrainian dance, and the energy in this class certainly isn't lacking.
They're a bunch of go-getters, and they like to come out and dance hard all year round.
This is the Seniors Can Shumka class for anyone 55 years and up.
Anyone that's either brand new to Ukrainian dancing, we even have people in here who danced when they were younger.
Victor Melik is their oldest student at 89 years old.
I am Ukrainian. I've been cognizant of this all my life. And I just never danced when I was young, but I always wanted to.
Melik says he was out of shape and had trouble keeping up at first. 8 years later, he's lost more than 60 pounds through Shumka dancing.
And I wouldn't give it up for anything.
Many seniors are seeing health benefits from taking the class.
My arthritis is gone.
So the doctor told me.
It decreases your dementia, the chances of you getting dementia, and that there's scientific proof behind things like that. I think it's just fantastic. It's keeping the entire community more healthy.
The class has grown from about 8 students when it was first offered 9 years ago to now upwards of 40 people taking part each week.
50% of this is, learning to dance, getting some exercise, toning your muscles, finding their balance, but the other 50% is really just having a good time with people.
Then you put it all together and you've got a party. There's music, there's dancing, there's joking and laughing, and it's great.
It's the dancing, it's the fun, it's the music.
Melik turns 90 in May when he hopes to become one of the oldest Shumka dancers to ever take the stage at the Northern Jubilee Auditorium.
I was in university when they built the Jubilee. To be on that stage, you look out at the audience, you can't see anyone. It's like you're in an empty hall. And then the applause comes and it's just overwhelming.
Amanda Anderson, CTV News, Edmonton.
Just ahead, more layoffs are coming to the energy sector. Plus, new advancements are coming to those who suffer from eczema.
Giving a new novel treatment that is highly effective is a huge step forward.
Good evening, folks. A cool one today with gusty wind and temperatures topping out at 4 degrees in Edmonton this afternoon. Should be a lot sunnier tomorrow. Wind will be down and temperatures will be slightly warmer. We'll take a look at that in just a few minutes.
Welcome back. The latest round of layoffs in the energy sector is set to begin at ConocoPhillips next week. A memo says 25% of its workforce will be cut. Despite this and other job losses, there is a sense of optimism about where the sector is heading. Tyson Fedor explains.
Canada's usually booming energy sector is shrinking. In September, the country counted 204,200 energy workers, but that was down about 500 jobs from August, according to Statistics Canada. And year over year, compared to 2024, employment in the sector was down nearly 5%, or about 10,500 jobs. But new pipelines could turn the tide.
Alberta or Saskatchewan has got good pipeline exposure and transportation exposure to east and west coast, then Canada's future is very bright.
But for now, the job losses appear to be piling up. Last week, U.S.-based ConocoPhillips announced it would be laying off staff in Calgary to be more efficient with the resources it has. 950 employees work for the company in Canada.
I've been in this industry, for 40 plus years, and I was with industry before I switched to academia in Australia in 2002. I have seen these cycles. So Conoco moving out is not necessarily a bad news for Canada. When one door closes, 2 doors opens.
The sector did see major growth last month in refining and pipelines with more than 11,000 jobs added. American company Sunoco is wrapping up a deal to buy Calgary-based Parkland for more than $12.5 billion Canadian this Friday.
I think initially there were some concerns that we're letting an American company come in and acquire possibly strategic assets of the Burnaby refinery and some of the gas stations that we have here. But there were commitments made by Sunoco in a way that they would maintain investment in the refinery and also maintain the headquarters and jobs in Calgary.
And amid a frosty relationship with the U.S., experts saying this deal will only help attract more international stakeholders seeking a piece of the energy pie in Canada.
A U.S. company is coming in and being able to purchase a Canadian company with a relatively smooth approval process. I think this bodes well for foreign investment.
Cenovus Energy's takeover of MEG Energy also appears poised to win shareholder approval later this week. Tyson Fedor, CTV News, Calgary.
There's new hope for Albertans struggling with eczema, a common skin condition that can be both painful and emotionally draining. Health Canada has just approved a new cream that doctors say is showing remarkable results for adults and now even in young children. CTV's Mark Villani has the details.
More than anything in life, Dinesh Sahi loves his family, but this sudden flare-up of red splotches on his neck started taking away from his happiness.
It was physically and mentally uncomfortable because I cannot sleep at night and I cannot do my day-to-day life activities. That was really horrifying.
Sahi was diagnosed with atopic dermatitis, commonly known as eczema, a chronic skin condition that causes redness, dryness, and intense itching.
It was on the whole body, from the face to the lakes.
Dermatologists say the condition is often worsened in Alberta because of the province's dry climate and colder winters. But a new topical treatment is coming to the rescue.
That helps me to make my day-to-day life activities normal.
And after using a cream called Opzelura for 8 weeks, the results were astonishing.
Almost 50% or 5 out of 10 patients were clear, almost clear.
Opzelura was given the green light from Health Canada recently, and its approval extended this month from adults only to now children aged 2 and up. Calgary dermatologist Dr. Alim Divani helped lead a clinical trial for 350 kids.
They're constantly itching. They have psychosocial or psychological impacts to the disease. So giving a new novel treatment that is highly effective is a huge step forward.
It's hailed as a new era of non-steroidal treatments for skin conditions, quickly targeting immune signals, driving itch and redness. It's not cheap, costing around $1,000 per tube, but it's covered by insurance in most severe cases. For patients that use it, many say it's life-changing.
Now it makes me very comfortable.
Mark Villani, CTV News, Calgary.
After the break, assessing the Elks' 2025 season.
I think we established who we want to be.
Tuesday on Your Morning, how to know whether what you see on TikTok is accurate. Plus, stem cell supplements are all over the internet, but do they work? See you at 6.
Your Morning Edmonton, weekdays.
Programming brought to you by James H. Brown Injury Lawyers, the heavy hitters of injury law.
Welcome back. 4 degrees for a daytime high today. Should be a little closer to average tomorrow, although the average daytime high by tomorrow actually slips to 5 degrees, so we'll be a little bit above average for tomorrow and the rest of this week. You get some snow still coming down overnight tonight and into tomorrow morning in northeastern Alberta, but there's your clearing, and it may still be a little breezy early tomorrow morning, but by about lunchtime, the wind should die down. You get some sunshine tomorrow afternoon, light wind, and about 7 or 8 degrees for a daytime high. There's a new little system that's going to develop right around the Edmonton area and then track off to the east early Wednesday. This is 5 a.m. So you get a chance of some scattered showers early in the morning on Wednesday, and then we'll get some clearing later in the day. Most of this is about lunchtime tomorrow. Most of the rain and then snow is going to be off into the east. North of Highway 16, rain-snow mix or some snow. We've already got snow on the ground there in through a couple of areas around Conklin, Mariana Lake area. South of Highway 16, this should all stay as rain. There's your sunny breaks by Wednesday afternoon here in the city. Tomorrow morning, about -1 in Edmonton, -2 in Fort McMurray, -5s for Red Deer, Grand Prairie, Jasper. You get back to around 2 degrees in Fort McMurray. Chance of some snow into the morning hours, cloudy in the afternoon. 3 or 4 degrees for Cold Lake and Lac La Biche. It'll be 5 or 6 degrees above zero with some sunshine in Grand Prairie, Whitecourt, Edson. About 7 or 8 degrees and sunny skies, Red Deer and Coronation. Lloydminster at about 3 or 4 degrees and mostly cloudy. Sunny, light wind at 7 degrees tomorrow afternoon. 10 on Wednesday. Chance of some showers in the morning. Sunny breaks in the afternoon. Thursday looks nice, 9 degrees and partly cloudy. And then for Halloween Friday, could see some showers, maybe even a little bit of a rain-snow mix in the evening hours. Long-range forecast has daytime highs in the 5 to 7 range through the first week of November, which is slightly above average for early November. That is your forecast.
The Edmonton Elks are optimistic about their future, despite missing the playoffs this year. Their head coach says the team has come a long way.
I think we established who we want to be. I think the foundation is in place here to be able to build on it next year and really hit the ground running. I think, we established that we want to be a team that prepares the right way. We did that. I think we want it to be a connected football team. They are.
The Elks cleaned out their lockers and said their goodbyes on Saturday after their playoff hopes were dashed against the BC Lions a couple of weeks ago. They hope to bring it home one last time for Edmonton against the Stamps on Friday, ultimately finishing their season with a 20-10 loss. Now, although they were unsuccessful, the Elks walked away from their season of growth with a 7-11 record.
I feel very good about the direction that we're headed, right? I think more importantly is that, there's a plan. I think that's kind of the thing that we want our fans and our players and the people that are associated with us to understand is that we have a clear direction on where we're trying to go and where we're headed as a football team and a department.
The Elks will continue their reevaluating their entire roster as they head into another early off-season. Veteran signal caller Cody Fajardo also saying if he plays football next year, he would love nothing more than to do it wearing green and gold. Yeah, Fajardo sure had a heck of a season for the Elks. That's all from us tonight. Thanks for wrapping up your Monday with us on CTV Edmonton. We'll see you again tomorrow night, same time, same place. Until then, take care and goodbye for now.